A cry in the distance. David was playing a soft tune on his harp when we heard a tiny sound, a faint. Frightened me, R-R-R-R. It didn't sound like a sheep, and it didn't sound like a full lion either. David followed the noise until he found a small lion cub tangled in a thorn bush. Its golden fur was stuck, and its little paws trembled. "Oh, you poor thing," David whispered. "Don't worry, I'll help you." Carefully, he untangled the thorns and freed the cub. The cub shook its fur and looked at David with wide amber eyes. Instead of running away, it walked right up to him and rubbed its head against his leg. "Well, hello there," David laughed. "I'll call you Ari. It means little lion." And from that day, Ari followed David everywhere. Courage lessons from a cub. David and Ari became unlikely best friends. When David practiced slinging stones, Ari stood proudly beside him, giving a tiny roar as if cheering him on. "Roar as loud as you want," David giggled. "One day I'll need real courage like yours," but Ari taught him more than roars. Whenever a wolf came near the flock, Ari would stand firm, small but fearless. Whenever thunder rumbled, Ari wouldn't hide. He would press close to David and stay calm. Whenever David felt nervous about anything, Ari would sit beside him, reminding him, "Courage isn't being big. Courage is trusting you weren't made to be afraid, David." Learn from Ari that courage starts in the heart, not in the muscles. The day of the giant. Then came the day that everyone in Israel whispered about. A giant named Goliath thundered across the valley, shouting challenges to the army. David went to bring food to his brothers and heard Goliath mocking God. David felt fear tug at his chest, but then he remembered Ari. He knelt beside his lion cub friend and said, "I may be small, but God is with me." Courage comes from him. Ari gave a soft roar. A roar that sounded almost like, "You can do this." David picked up his sling and 5 smooth stones. Facing the giant as David walked onto the field, he imagined Ari at his side like always raised, standing strong, never backing away. David whispered, "God gave me courage when I faced lions and bears, and you, Ari, helped me practice." Then he stood tall before Goliath, a tiny shepherd boy with a heart full of bravery. One stone flew, one giant fell, and all Israel cheered. Ari's paupering on history after the victory. David sat with Ari on the hill. He stroked the cub's fur and smiled. "You helped teach me courage," he said softly. "You reminded me that God makes even the smallest ones brave." Ari purred and curled up beside him as the sun set. And though the world remembers David and Goliath, only David remembered the little lion cub who helped him become brave long before the battle. Listen, God can use even the smallest friend or the smallest moment to teach us courage. True. Bravery isn't about size. It's about trusting God like David did.